And I'm live with Victor Gallegos. Today, we're going to be talking about the used buy box changes and how this is something that people are just very anxious about, very worried about. Um, a lot of emotions around this because it really does mean a lot, right? If the used buy
Mhm.
box, as the way it currently was or is, were to go away, I mean, for a lot of people, that could mean serious trouble for your business, depending on how your business is built or like the way that um, you run your business on, just using the prime bump or using intrinsic value, et cetera. So what's up, Victor?
What's up? A lot of people are worried. We've got a lot of DMs every time recently when we went live recently doing some interviews and stuff. People have asked us questions. We've gotten a lot of emails. So yeah, if you really have a business depending on the FBA having the buy box, I mean, you're really stressing out. I've heard a lot of people saying their sales have gone down a lot, and I feel bad for those people, but it's something that's just is happening now, and so yeah, we felt like it's time to at least go get on and talk about it. So
Yeah, because this has been happening, I want to say for what, close to a week now, I think.
yeah,
It's
about
been
a
a
week.
while. I mean, generally when things happen and they seem to be fast, like, Victor and I are very patient. We're always like, want
Mhm.
to kind of take a step back, look back at it, and just kind of see what's going on, see what people are saying. This wasn't something new, by the way. I mean, if you were around selling books back in March, I believe, was it February or March? I don't
March,
remember.
yeah, March.
Yeah, this year, that's when it was really just out of left field when all of a sudden the used buy box switched from being pretty much predominantly FBA to all the way to FBM. And that lasted, I don't even remember how long, a couple weeks, 2, 3 weeks, but
I
that
think
was,
that's about 3 weeks.
yeah.
Yeah.
And even though there is still a lot of anxiety, hysteria around what's going on, even though it happened before, like, and that's going on right now, back then, oh my gosh, we were getting like, Victor and Joji, you guys are just trying to string people along. You guys just want to promote your software. You guys, like, literally, we were like, I don't know about you. I felt like I was getting attacked like crazy.
We were getting attacked, like we were like the intrinsic guys.
Yeah.
Like, okay, wow. And
Yeah.
I'm just literally just trying to help you out here, trying to look what the facts I have. Obviously, me and you don't work at Amazon, but
Yeah.
we can read the what facts we have and how we're operating our businesses, and we can tell you how we're doing it.
Yeah.
And obviously, after everyone, there was a lot of people who were like, "I'm done. I'm liquidating. I'm selling my business. I'm gonna start a whole new business, or I'm like gonna start an actual used bookstore, a physical bookstore." And all
Yeah.
those things were just kind of wild. I remember all those things happening within the 3 weeks, and that we're finished or whatever, right? And then I remember when it like came back. I remember writing a post like, okay, you guys need to stop.
Yeah.
You need to stop being so frustrated. Like it came back as expected. You guys need to calm down. The sky wasn't falling, right? And ever since then we've been saying, look, that was a test. It's gonna happen again. And that's what recently happened is recently happened. It's just, I believe, another test that Amazon's trying. It's almost similar to like us doing repricing, right? We have
Yeah.
different plans that we have, and then we constantly keep testing them out. Well, let me try 99 cents, 15.99, or okay, well, 14.86. Is that gonna, you try different methods. You try like, okay, beat the buy box or match the buy box or match the lowest FBA. We're trying these all out to try to make money. And this is the same thing that Amazon is trying to do to make more money with their business. And this is their playground, and they're gonna figure out how to make the most money out of it. And we're just gonna be there to watch it.
Yeah. We've
Mm-hmm.
got some in the comments saying round two of telling people to chill out. You guys aren't worried. I'm not either.
Yeah,
Change is nature's delight. Yeah. I mean, going back to last time, I think it was maybe it was 3 weeks. I
it
think
was
it
three
was
weeks.
3 weeks long.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're right. A lot of people did want to change their business model. A lot of people overnight wanted to switch to FBM. A
Mm.
lot of people, like you said, wanted to open up a brick and mortar store. So, I mean, the thing is, changes are not new to Amazon, right? I mean, if you've been selling for at least a year or 2 years, like, that there's always going to be changes with Amazon as time goes on. That's what we can expect, right? And there's a saying that says, the only constant in life is change, and the same thing is true with Amazon here, right? And at the
Mm.
end of the day, what has enabled Victor and I to stay around since, I've started selling in 2016. I think you were what, 2017, 2018?
2017. Yeah.
Yeah. Has allowed us to stay around is just the ability to adapt. And part of that has come from a bunch of experience from us having seen many changes and not just like harshly reacting to them right off the bat, because um you do need time to digest. And if things do ultimately change, let's say FBM we're permanently going to be winning the buy box now is going to happen for the foreseeable future, then once more than just a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, once it's been like 4 5 6 months, we've gone through multiple textbook seasons where this is appears to be the normal, then all of a sudden we're like, all right, now we do need to strategize and figure out, okay, how are we going to sort of try to make this as profitable as it can be. Now, what we were getting attacked for a lot last time was the intrinsic value. Okay, so what we have to understand is that most people who are selling books base the pricing of those books and base their decision on whether or not they even purchase a book to flip based upon live data, right? And not historical data, not intrinsic value. And so, Victor, why is that, in our opinion, a faulty reason or faulty way to run a business or this book business?
It's even like my opinion. I don't even like that. Part of the conversation. It's because it's just fact, right? So if we try to sell an item for its actual worth, right? Not what it is today, what it was yesterday, what we think of it is just tomorrow, right? We're actually trying to figure out, what is this product worth? What is this book actually worth? And how much lower is it today than what's the actual worth? And that's as simple as that. So we try to understand the value of the book, and then once we derive that, then we try to figure out what the price is today and if there's enough of a gap for us to make a profit.
Yeah.
And the vast majority of the time, well, not even almost all the time, I don't even look at the FBA used buy box. Like I don't even look at it as in my calculations. It's the cherry on top, like you described it, and it's because if I get it, I get it, and if not, I'm not worried about it. We'll make money without it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jeff over here saying stay in the fight.
Yeah.
The intrinsic value method makes the most sense. It really does, because again, we're trying to sell books for what they're worth. And so if you're somebody who's thrifting, doing library sales, local pickups, local textbook pickups, right? If you can just understand that one thing, like what historically the book sells for over a longer period of time, in terms of an average, all you have to do is pick the book up for less than that intrinsic value, and you're in the money. But the thing is, most people that are selling books on Amazon, probably other products as well, but specifically books here, is we're looking at live data and we're trying to make a decision based upon whatever the current use price
And
is.
just the
And
live data.
yeah, and that's just a huge uh, flaw when things like this happen, when the used buy box all of a sudden switches to FBM, because a lot of the decisions that people are making about whether or not to buy the book is based upon what the current FBA used buy box price is, which can, in many cases for books, be very exploitative, very much larger than whatever the real value of the book is, right? So we have a book that over the whole year, the black line, which represents the lowest used price, if it's always between $3 and $5 the whole year,
Yep.
that's what the real value of the book is. It's like a $3 to $5 book plus shipping. That's the real value. And now, of course, if at the moment in time that you scan the book, the FBA buy box price is $29.99. Well, now all of a sudden, if you pick the book up for $1 at a thrift store, there's a spread because your software is telling you I can buy it for $1 and flip it for 30. But the only way that that works is if the buy box price stays at 30, which is a massively inflated price, right? And what Victor and I are not saying is that you should never use the FBA prime bump. You should never try to win the buy. Like, all we're saying is, if you fundamentally run your business off of, I'm only going to be buying books, picking up books at a price that is well below what they're actually worth, right? If that's the only way, if that's the way you run your business, then you will be successful. And if you're over here trying to find books and essentially just exploit the prime gap as a way to make money, if a change like this, the buy box happens, your business is
Yeah.
dead. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Because it's just a feature. It's just it's just a feature that Amazon has, right? The FBA, the buy box. And so if the buy box goes away, just it's a feature they could just turn off. Once you feel way more comfortable actually buying a book off of its intrinsic value, so that you can sell it anywhere for that intrinsic value, right?
You
So
can't turn off intrinsic value,
right?
Like even if Amazon's like takes the listing, well, on eBay it still sells for $50.
Yeah,
I mean, right, on this other website it still sells for $50, right? It's like, so that's a great way to put it, Victor. It's like the FBA buy box seems to be like a light switch. It's like on off, on off, on off, on off, on off, on off. Versus intrinsic value is there. It's like you can't dispute what the value of the book is. And so if you can figure out a way when you're sourcing to find these books at prices well below intrinsic value, you're going to make money, because all you have to do is bring the book to market and price it competitively, price it fairly. And I think it's a good point to also mention that Victor and I purchase books on Amazon. So we're buying books right now when they are priced very, very low, or when they're priced below their intrinsic value, right? So a lot of these, so it's important to note that, again, we're not making our pricing decisions based upon live data with the current prices. We're basing it off of historical sales data, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And can I tell you about a story about the thrift store that I went to a thrift store yesterday.
Oh, yes.
And of course, I wasn't going for books, right? I was just going for just looking around, basically, trying to put a costume together. And so when I was there, of course, I wanted to go check out the books just because I'm a bookseller, even though I don't scan books usually, right? So I'm in the book area, and then I found a really great, I found a high school book that I sell a lot, and I was just sitting there. I'm like, okay, cool. Look, I can't believe I'm seeing it in the wild here. And I just left it there. And then I'm kind of walking away, and then I see this guy. He's over scanning books. I'm like, oh, cool. I found someone in the wild actually scanning books. Hey guy, you should buy this high school book. I think right now it's probably still like $10-15, but in August this book goes for $45, maybe even up to $60.
Yeah.
So he goes and scans the book up with his software, and it shows the book is worth $15, and it's like $5, right? The book at the thrift store. So he's like, that's not worth it. So even the fact that I told him this book is worth $45, he still was like, yeah. So even though I pointed out the intrinsic value is $45, he only read off his little machine saying green, red, and it was like, nope, red, sorry. Like, what basically, why did you even give me this book? And I was just so disappointed that this is happening all the time. There's these really great books that are just go back on the shelf. So yeah.
And it happens all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, all you have to do is look at some keepagraphs, and you can clearly see there are books that are very seasonal, that get very cheap in off season, get, actually go up in price quite a bit during the season when there's a lot more demand. And yeah, there's tons of these books sitting on the shelves. Gary has a very interesting comment. He said there are some Facebook posts in the last hour from sellers noting the buy box is going to FBA again. Hope so. I mean, so just another reason why we weren't so hysterical, right? Because we're like, we've seen this before. We think it's a bunch of testing. We thought it was a bunch of testing last time. I thought it was completely intentional. I didn't think there's any glitch behind it. Same thing, same time this time. I don't think there's any glitches. I don't think it's, to me, in my eyes, it's very intentional testing. So that's really interesting. That's crazy that within the last hour that potentially it's already back. And what I will say is, if anyone is out there, jumping up and down and screaming, shouting for joy, I would say, really reflect on what your business model is built off, because I believe testing is going to continue to come. I believe that long term there will be changes to the used buy box to become more fair to both consumers and both FBA and FBM sellers. So personally, I'm not expecting the complete status quo to go back. I do think that from a bunch of this data collection, that something will result of it. And who knows exactly what that will be. But again, this is why we highlight buying on intrinsic value. Kev Money says, luckily, I'm still making sales despite the buy box issue. That's great to hear. It's more than likely that you actually have good books that have good intrinsic value. A lot of okay, so we'll go to one extreme. The one extreme of people who are completely out of business are people who have books right now who on the keepograph the whole year the used buy box price is like $1 or $2.
And then they're hoping for that $45 buy box, right?
Yeah, so not even 45, even like $14.99 or $19.99.
Okay, yeah.
way above the actual real
The
value.
huge spread. Yeah.
If that's their whole inventory, okay, when this thing flips, you're done. Like you're the first one to go, right? Now,
Yes.
people out there, the other extreme, the people that are going to be sitting going, what? Wait, something's wrong? Are going to be the people who are picking up books for 15 to 20 bucks, and all these books that they're picking up at the lowest price consistently the whole year sell $50 plus, right?
Yeah.
Those are the people who are like, wow, $5 changes? What? I'm just selling books for intrinsic value. Like I'm chilling over here. Jeremy says, I've learned mainly from you two that the prime bump is the proverbial cherry on top and to not count it for my profit. Now, don't get me wrong, guys. Jeremy, I love a cherry on top of my ice cream. And of course, when that prime bump is there, if I do think it's reasonable and I can get it, I'm going to get it. But
It's
understand that
definitely a good bonus. Yes.
But understand if the cherry's gone, I still have
Yeah.
ice cream. I still have a profitable business, right? Some people have an ice cream cone with no ice cream, just a bunch of cherries on top. It's like, oh, when that switch is flipped and there's no more cherries, then okay, you just have a cone now. You don't have anything. So we got Devin saying, has there been another buy box scare? Or are you talking about the one from months ago? Well, there was one months ago.
Yeah.
And then it just happened again a week ago. And again, we've been quiet on the sidelines and finally felt like we had to address it because, again, Victor and I have been getting tons of messages about a lot of people worrying, a lot of people who hadn't been around, who had started after that buy box debacle is what it was called. And I would say this time people seem to be calmer overall. Like the first time it happened, people were just going absolute crazy and nuts. This time, I think people are a little bit more level headed. Kind of, we've seen this before and knew what to expect. We got Steve Ricken in the house, smash the like button, saying, "What's up,
Steve,
guys?"
what's up?
Yep. And Steve's got tons of comments. We got Junkman in the house.
Junkman, how
Ricken says, "That's the average person. Think our robots that rely on softwares only show green or red."
Yeah, so I couldn't even convince this guy to buy this book, and he just saw his screen and said, "Nope, red, sorry."
Yeah, gotta learn to read a keeper chart instead of relying on green or red.
Exactly.
And he says the new buy box is treating me like a king right now. I'm sure. Yeah, it doesn't seem like the new buy box was changed or altered or tested with last March or even this time around. So that's awesome. Yeah, this guy didn't realize he was speaking to the seasonal kings. Yeah, it's just funny because we're over here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I was trying to explain it to him. I didn't want to be like, do you not know who I am? I didn't mean it like, because he was scanning books. I was like, dude, I was about to ask him if he knew Steve. Did he know Avery? Or how is he not going to buy this book? And I put it back on the shelf. But yeah, free ice cream cones at Books and Beyond.
Free ice cream cones at Books and Beyond. Yeah, Books and Beyond, everyone, is coming up here October 10th through 12th. It's like what, 10 days?
It's like
it's
10 basically days almost tomorrow. If you guys need to come to Books and Beyond, Steve definitely is going to be there. He's going to do some crazy stuff. He's already told us. He's gonna have a whole have us going crazy. So I'm excited about what his plans are, and I'm excited about for Books and Beyond. So you guys need to grab
tickets to Books and Beyond. We do have a pretty crazy offer going on right now. If you use the coupon code Flash Sale in all caps, you can basically get 3 tickets. So if you bring your friends and or family members, and 3 of you come, which is great because you guys can split an Airbnb or you guys can stay in one hotel room. Then you guys can get 50% off if you use that coupon code for the 3 tickets. So it's a pretty amazing deal. By the way, this is what I look to when things happen in business or in our business. I look to the people such as Frank, such as Victor, Steve, Avery. I look to the people who are a little bit more well connected, a little bit more level headed to see how they respond to changes. And so Frank, you can't freak out when things go wrong. That's the time to evaluate. That's how you got to do your business. And so if you weren't aware, Frank is the owner of Little Owl Prep, which a lot of people use, very trusted prep center, very knowledgeable guy, also going to be a speaker at Books and Beyond, also a sponsor at Books and Beyond, which is awesome. But yeah, I would turn to those people who are more solidified in the business. Frank's been in the business for quite a while now. I mean, certainly, was it right around your time or maybe?
Yeah, actually, I'd say maybe 6 months before I started. So he started maybe 6 months before me.
That's a prep center, right? I think
that's a prep center. Yeah,
that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's been around a long time.
And you didn't see him say in that comment that he's going to shut down his business.
Yeah.
So obviously there's still business to be had. And so those are the people that you listen to when things are kind of thrown up in the air like that, right? You go and look and ask for advice. You see what they're doing, see if they're worried. And if those people aren't worried, then what are you doing? Why are you worried?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Junkman says, I haven't seen any posts this time offering their inventory or a truckload because they were halted. You know what that's referring to?
So nobody's stressing out so much that
Oh,
they're
okay,
ready
okay.
to liquidate
Okay.
everything.
Gotcha. John says, if a book has 20 FBM offers below the intrinsic value, would you buy them all or skip it? It's a good question. It
Oh, I like
really,
that question.
yeah, it really kind of depends on how fast moving the book is. In other words, 20 FBM offers below what we consider intrinsic value could be considered either very few offers or a lot of offers, depending on how fast selling the book is. So, like, let's go to the extreme of the book sells once a year. Well, if we thought the intrinsic value based upon the last 5 years is like it's every time over the last 5 years it's sold for over 50, we're like, all right, this book's probably worth 50. But then all of a sudden, if there's 20 offers that are like under $10 and it's like this book sells once a year, then yeah, no, that's no, right?
Yeah, because it's
That
going to
book
take
is
you
actually
20
going
years
to,
regardless to sell it, because there's going to be that one buyer
yeah,
every year for 20 years, and
yeah.
that's you're not gonna that's crazy to hold that many
That book
copies.
has now fundamentally changed, right?
Yes, right.
Now, on the other hand, the other extreme, let's say we have 20 FBM offers below the intrinsic value, and this is a book that sells like 40 or 50 times a day. Then all of a sudden, all those offers may be gone in the next 3 hours. Not that you bought them, but other people have bought it. So obviously the answer is going to lie somewhere in the middle, but probably a good rule of thumb is like when you do look at a 1 year chart and you do look at trying to do your best to gauge how often the book sells, right? Like you're definitely going to want to keep that in mind with, of like how many books should I actually pick up relative to how often it's selling kind of a thing.
I like to always throw out the example of the Ways of the World AP edition. So if
Yeah.
that book is below its intrinsic value today, so let's just, even though I'm not going to be able to sell it, more than likely be able to sell the book until next May, but I believe the value of that book is at least right around $80. But let's just say there was a lot of FBM sellers selling it for like 60 right now. I'd go buy all 20 copies without skipping a beat.
Yeah.
I'd go. You tell me, hey Victor, there's 20 copies of this book right now at $60. I would get off this live stream and go and buy them.
But what I would say is that the huge asterisk or caveat there is that book is an incredibly popular book, right? It sells
Yes, right,
tons during those,
exactly,
right? Yeah,
right,
exactly. So Victor wouldn't be doing that on a book that sells a couple times a year, right? So,
exactly, right,
but
right.
again, it's
That's what I
just
meant. Yeah,
using
it's a really good
at
book.
the end of the day, this business really comes down to just kind of thinking logically, right? Just using some common sense and kind of going from there. Devin says, I hadn't noticed anything, but I agree with what you all are projecting for the future. As a consumer, the gap needs to be narrower than it is currently for the FBA sometimes. Yeah. I mean, everyone just saw that Amazon just settled with the FTC over tricking people into Prime membership and making it difficult for them to cancel the membership. So they just settled for I don't know how many billions of dollars. There are other FTC lawsuits as well about anti-competitive practices, monopolistic tendencies, things like that. I mean, again, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not someone who's going in and reading, the whole case against Amazon. I'm just looking at this from a logical, common sense perspective, right? Question for you, Victor. When people
Yeah,
go to Amazon and let's say they do want to buy a book,
yeah.
what percentage of them do you actually think when they buy through the buy box and it is inflated, what percentage of those people do you think actually think they're getting the best deal? So like let's say the lowest price is 25 and the FBA price is like 70. It's a textbook. What percentage of those people who actually just buy through the buy box actually believe that that is the best deal? Like they're getting the best deal and they're checking out.
I think I think that they think that's the only deal. I don't even
Yeah.
think they realize it. I think they're just happy with what they have. So I'm guessing probably all of them. They just probably
Yeah.
click on they buy it now and just happy with it. So
Yeah.
there's not oh, I wonder if I could get this cheaper. They don't even I'm not even think they're thinking.
Yeah. I think, again, this is my opinion. I think their thought process is Amazon is out there for my best interest. They're trying to give me
Yep.
the best deal.
Right.
And so the thing is, I would bet, again, just using common sense and just using logic, that a lot of if I were to be suing Amazon, I'd be like, guys, this is not fair at all. You make it very hard for customers to know whether or not they're actually getting the best price because you kind of hide it. Like there's this little button down below where click on the use the new offers, and then I have to kind of scroll through the offers. Like you very blatantly throw this right in my face, like buy it now right here. And to me, if I were suing Amazon, I'd be like, that has to change. You need to make it much more clear that if the person is going to be paying a large difference in price, then they know that. And there's like, and so what do I think? I think long term too, use buy boxes an FBA and an FBM, probably the most competitive FBM offer, meaning the cheapest price, the most competitive FBA offer, probably the lowest price. And then clearly a customer could see the difference in price. That's just my opinion. So yeah, I don't know. I do
No,
think that
I agree with you, Joji.
yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. We got Reagan saying that he loves all prep. We
Yeah.
got
Me too.
business just like life is a camelback. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
ups and downs. Are we on the
On
go-to
the
lister
go-to lister,
bandwagon?
bandwagon. Okay.
I do use go-to lister. I every so often do send shipments out. I still get my return shipped to me just because I like personally to look at the returns and to ship them back in. I also have some replens um, that I get shipped to my house or that I buy and ship them to my house, and so I send them out. So I use go-to lister. I'm sure you could use other softwares as well. I'm sure they would work, but for me personally, go-to lister is like really simple to use. So I
Yeah, I
haven't.
really like Go-To Lister, especially when Avery showed it to me. I don't buy books locally because I'm in DC and space here is really limited anything for to do anything here. But I really like how fast the software is. I also like how he's like reachable, right? Like if I want a feature, if anybody around wants a feature or something corrected, you can actually reach out to the owner, right? And get it fixed. And that's something that a lot of other software companies don't have. And I think when somebody asks me for a listing software, I recommend Go to Lister. So
We got Johnny the book flipper going, "What's up, boys?" So Johnny
what's
the book
up,
flipper
Johnny?
is going to be at Books and Beyond as well. I
Yeah,
think he's bringing his sister or maybe his girlfriend. I'm not sure, but he's bringing someone with him as well, which is going to be a lot of fun.
great
We have
guy.
Junkman. Lots of people think Amazon is a giant Walmart. Returns or refunds only heard Amazon. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of people just think that Amazon's some giant company not built of individual sellers, and that they can, no matter what happens, Amazon's got their back and they can just return whatever. I don't know. It is what it is. At the end of the day, we do all get returns. Doesn't matter what business it is.
But luckily for books, when you return a used book, it's still a used book.
It's still a used book, which is very rare.
Yeah.
Like if I buy a pizza and I'm like, this pizza sucks.
Yeah.
Like you can't just return it and then they just put it right back out and they're like, that's it. Or if like you're selling Nike shoes,
You lose the entire amount or the Nike shoes, right? So let's
yeah,
just say that pair is $100 and then now after somebody uses it for a little and now it's on this like $60-$70, right? So it's lost a lot of value.
yeah,
But that's not the case for used books. Like it's still a used book. You can sell it very similar to the same price as you just sold it before because you sold it. Hopefully you sold it for its intrinsic value. So
yeah.
you're still gonna be able to sell it for that same price.
We got Garrett saying, guys, I'm super pumped for Vegas. As for the buy box, my opinion is keep on keeping on
Yeah.
with business. That is, yes. So Garrett Jones, he also has a YouTube channel, Amazon Jones. Go check him out. He's also going to be at Books and Beyond, obviously, and he also has a bookkeeping business as well, which is pretty cool. So if you guys want to learn more about his bookkeeping business, I definitely recommend going to Books and Beyond.
And he's actually started being really successful with that.
Yeah.
So and I know that's one of the weaknesses as an entrepreneur is like getting all of your numbers straight. So
And what better to learn it from somebody who actually also sells books? So
yeah,
he
exactly.
has that niche. So well done, Garrett. Definitely, I would say contact Garrett, even if you don't come to Books and Beyond. But Jeremy says life is a garden. Dig it. Yeah,
Dig it.
I would agree.
Yeah.
So let's go and talk about what we've actually seen, because again, the number one thing people thought for the first round and the second round is glitch. It's a glitch. It is an error. The API calls are incorrect with what we actually see on Amazon. I actually did ask somebody. I could have also asked you. I should have asked you as well, but I did ask someone who's like works a lot with APIs, and I said, is it possible that Amazon could do testing when the API doesn't match the live data? And he said, yeah, probably. What I would do if I were Amazon and I were trying to test it, I would basically just let the API, push the API out. And then on the back end, after the API has kind of pushed out values to people using the API, then do experimental changes so that data isn't public and it isn't available for people to see. So I thought that was a very interesting conversation. But let's talk about first time around. What did we see with the variations of the buy box? What do you remember seeing it back in February, March?
So do you want me to address the API or?
Sure. You can do the API first, and then we can talk about the variations that you guys
Okay,
seen.
so the API basically is Amazon gives this data to third-party software companies, and the third-party software companies continue to show the FBA buy box as normal in March. And so that was one of the key indicators that showed me that, oh, this is only temporary. Because the harder part was actually to change the API stuff to actually send it to the software companies, and they didn't do that. So I'm like, okay, this is a really good note to show this is only going to last a few weeks because they're not doing anything but besides this small amount of testing. And so yeah, that's something that you can easily do. One department does something and the API still does something else. And so this time around, it's still the same thing. The API data is still showing the FBA buy box. So that was also a really good note to show that, okay, this again is only going to be temporary because they haven't changed that. On both right now, the buy box, Joji, is showing a lot of different like variations of the buy box. I mean, I've seen the FBM just getting the buy box. I've actually seen like an FBM and a FBA used buy box like together.
Yep.
And then I've seen like a new one, a new, and then two used ones. And I don't know, it is kind of just a lot of variations of that's what I'm seeing right now. I don't know if you're seeing something more than that, but
Yeah.
those
I
are
mean,
the
I
ones
think
I'm
I
seeing.
counted like 7 variations in
Yeah.
total. And again, just using common sense, just using logic. Why are there so many how could that be a glitch? How could that not be intentional? How could it have for the longest time always been a single new buy box, a single used buy box, always FBA, and then all of a sudden it changes, and all of a sudden there's 2 used buy boxes, 3 used buy boxes, FBA, FBA, FBM, 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 FBA, 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 FBM, like
Yeah.
that's just there's just so much in my eyes testing going on, which seems to be completely intentional on my side. That I think Amazon's really just collecting data now. For what reason are they collecting data? Nobody ultimately knows or understands unless you're in the inner workings of Amazon. My opinion, which could be completely wrong, my opinion is they're collecting data for the FTC lawsuit. And again, I think what they're being accused of is unfair practices for consumers and sellers, right? Think about it logically. How are FBM sellers kind of being unfavored? Well, beforehand, they can never really win the buy box. I mean, they could if there's an FBA offer, but normally if there's an FBA offer, FBA would win at a higher price.
Yep.
To me, that seems not very fair, right? Just logically,
Yep.
that
Yep.
I
Right.
could be an FBM seller offering a book for $20, and then some guy could come, some bozo could come in the FBA buy box,
For
pay
double the
$80,
price.
have the featured
Yeah.
offer. That doesn't
Yeah.
seem fair to me, right?
Yeah.
As
Right.
a seller, and then it also doesn't seem fair to me as a consumer if I'm what I would consider a normal consumer that, on Amazon, and I go to a listing and I see the used buy box. I think most people believe that that is the cheapest
Yeah.
price. I think
Yeah.
most people believe that is the best price. And so now all of a sudden they're paying $55 for a book FBA when they could have bought it for 25 and may have been willing to buy it for 25 plus shipping and waiting
If
a
they
week
knew that offer existed.
if
Yeah.
they knew it existed. So in my eyes, I think what Amazon is doing is collecting data to show that, hey, well, if we change the current mechanics of the buy box and we favor FBM over FBA, well, that doesn't now all of a sudden we're hurting FBA sellers because guess what? FBA sellers have to use our services. They have to pay more
Yeah.
money than FBM sellers. So if we give it the buy box to FBM sellers, whoa, that doesn't help this scenario at all because now all we've done is flip flop the other way. Where now FBA sellers are the ones that are being harmed. And on the other hand, what they're also going to say is like, hey guys, look, when we give FBM offers in to the buy box, consumers are much less happy. Look how many messages we get about their products not being, shipped within 2 days. Like people buy Prime with the expectation of they want this book in the next day or 2 days. And guess what? Customers are not happy when that happens. So all I'm saying is that if I were suing Amazon, right? Which in my eyes, I would sue Amazon because I do think it's anti-competitive what they do, right? And then if I were on the other side getting sued and I were Amazon, this is exactly what I would be doing. I'd be collecting a bunch of data to prove that the status quo is the best way for consumers and sellers. And the reason for that, Victor, is because the status quo makes Amazon the most money because it encourages people to continue to have a Prime subscription.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, when products sell for a higher price because of the FBA buy box, Amazon makes more money because of the 15% referral fee. 15% of a higher number is more money, so they make money overall. There's also a lot of these theories that people think like, oh, Amazon just doesn't want books in the FBA warehouse. Or maybe they want they want to become a storage unit and they want to charge us exorbitant fee. Like none of that makes sense at all when you really like look into it. So what I do want to state is, of course, at the end of the day, it's just what I believe, my opinion. It's who knows
Yeah.
if it's even remotely true. I'm just trying to use logic, common sense, and I'm not sure what your thoughts are on that
No,
sort of
I
stance.
have very similar thoughts, Joji. Also, the fact that they didn't test this out during textbook season
Yep.
also should show that this is deliberate. Um, and I think they're gonna continue even if things are back to normal right now and the FBA is still back in its regular position now. I think it could happen again. And again, this is why you should really base your business on intrinsic value of a book. I keep
Yeah.
going back to that, but that's the way, because like let's just say worst, I don't know, some people's worst case scenario is FBM and FBA fight for the lowest price, right? If you buy a book on its intrinsic value, that book is going to get back to its intrinsic value regardless if it's
Regardless.
FBA or FBM. It's going to
Yep.
get back there because that's the value of the book. And matter
Yep.
of fact, soon enough, all the FBM sellers will have sold out, and there's only FBA sellers left. And so, actually, a lot of times, if the book is in demand enough, that price will skyrocket even higher because of what if they're going just FBM first. And so
Yep.
it's just how the market is.
Yep. We
Yeah.
got Johnny going there. There are going to be a ton of people complaining about textbook season that they're booked,
Yeah,
didn't arrive
exactly.
in time if they favor the low margin offer. Yeah, exactly. So he says, I think the worst case scenario is going to be a feature low merchant and a featured FBA offer. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, again, if this is true, right, and it is the FTC lawsuit, which I do believe it likely is, if Amazon were to lose, right, let's think about how Amazon would make this the most fair for consumers and sellers. It would be allowing an FBM seller and an FBA seller both to compete for the buy box equally, right? Or have an equal chance of winning it, which likely means probably an FBA and an FBM used buy box together. And that would also at the same time show a customer consumer that I have two options here. I
Mm.
didn't know that before. I thought I had to buy for $70 FBA because that was the buy box. But now I see 35 merchant, 70 FBA. Now I can make a decision about whether or not I value paying twice as much to get it shipped to me in 2 days rather than a week, which I'm assuming a lot of people wouldn't, right? Which is, again, the reason why basing your business off of intrinsic value and not the prime bump, but the prime gap is a really important metric or feature. But let's see what Devin has to say. Amazon wants to make money. They benefit from higher FBA prices. My bet is data to fight the lawsuit, maximize shareholder value. This is the Max 7 stock. I wouldn't be too worried pending lawsuit. I would say the goal of any business is to make money. I believe what
Yep.
Amazon wants is the status quo. Why do I think they want the status quo? Because if they didn't want the status quo, they would have changed it a long time ago. They they're very meticulous about everything that they do. They do everything for a reason because it makes and generates the most money. So I think it's clear that the status quo or the way that it was makes the most money. That's I think what they're going to fight to keep. And so who knows what happens long term? I think there's a very high likelihood it stays the way it is. I also think that there's a decent chance that eventually we do get, two use buy boxes so that it is more sort of transparent to consumers and also sellers. But at the end of the day, Victor, you put it, perfectly on the nail
Yeah.
on the head. Base your model off of intrinsic value.
Yeah.
Understand changes like this will happen. I would bet that the use buy box is going to change again. So people have told us that I guess FBA is back. I don't know. I guess it's back, but I would bet in the future more testing is going to happen. And so just understand if you're playing the game of all of your books are only profitable with the prime bump, that's a very scary business to be running, in my opinion. So
Yeah. No, not even in your opinion. It is very scary
yeah.
business. Every day I'm always worried whether or not the switch is gonna be turned on or off.
Yeah.
Don't have a business like that, guys. That's get what you can get and get out type of business.
Yeah. Jerry says, "Hey guys, what's up, Jerry?" Jerry's also going to be at Books and Beyond, which is awesome.
Jerry, what's
So
up?
again, anyone who wants to come to Books and Beyond, it's happening in Vegas. You can meet us. You can meet a bunch of other awesome sellers as well. Tickets link down below in the description. Last year was just an immense amount of fun, ton of fun. This year is also going to be a great time. We also have some major sponsors coming through this year, which is I think a huge positive as well for everybody. So really excited for that. Yeah. So next question people have is about intrinsic value. So like, let's say you are thrifting right now and your current model is red or green, right? Using Scout Lease, Scout IQ. Obviously, those softwares do an amazing job of speed. They get you through tons and tons of books. They do overall, through a shotgun approach, help you find most of the good books. And obviously, you're going to be missing books here and there, right? Because you will be buying some books you shouldn't ultimately be buying. You also will be passing on some books that you should be buying, such as the book that Victor mentioned earlier in that sort of a story you told us about that guy you just saw at the thrift store yesterday with that book you should have been picking up. But it's much, much harder to run a business off of finding stuff below market price, to find books below intrinsic value. It's a much harder way to run a business because it requires that you have some skill to be finding valuable stuff for less than what it's worth. It's much, much easier to just look at a shelf of books and buy books at what they're worth, right? Because they're priced how the market actually values them. It's much easier to find those because they're much more prevalent everywhere. It's much easier to buy stuff at market value and then try to get this prime bump. But again, we don't think that's the right way to do it. The much better way to do it is think about how can we find these books below our intrinsic value? How can we find them at a price point below what the market's actual value is? That's what's going to make you a much more resilient seller. And
we're actually trying to teach you a skill set here.
Yeah.
Like beyond what software just shows you red light, green light, right? We're actually trying to show you, okay, let's learn what the actual value of the book is. And then from there, then you'll be able to sell it for it. You confidently sell it for that price.
Yeah.
And not have to really worry about the prime bump if it's there or not.
Which, by the way, is much more difficult to teach that, right? The reason why we're trying to go out of our way to teach you that is because we care about you all and we want you to have a profitable book business. And also, we're not preaching things that we don't do. Like we're buying off of intrinsic value.
Yeah.
And again, that's what I would say is the reason for our success long term. Johnny says, "Be there or be square at Books and Beyond." Yes, definitely.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so what are we doing right now, Victor? This is a good question. Well, as soon as this buy box sort of switched back to FBM, I think that started last week. Again, there was a lot of people in the Facebook group saying, "Oh no, not this again." Hopefully, a lot of those people did make changes. I'm sure some people did, some people didn't. But what did Victor and I do? So as soon as I saw that, I was like, all right, when everyone else is scared, this is the time to be hungry. This is the time to be out there on the hunt, right? Because I don't know, and there's got to be a thing. Maybe it's Warren Buffett, or maybe
it's Warren Buffett.
Is it Warren Buffett who says like when others are scared, that's the time to pounce? Something along those lines, right?
Yeah.
And I forget what the exact saying is, but as soon as I saw that switch back, I'm like, all right, this is actually really good for people who are looking to pick up a bunch of books for the upcoming January textbook season specifically, because who knows how long this is going to last. Let's say it lasts 3 weeks, maybe a month, maybe a month and a half. Again, it looks like it's already back after a week, but yeah, wow, this is going to be an amazing time to start flushing out FBA offers for the upcoming season, right? Because basically what's going to happen is if FBA offers can't win the buy box and they have to compete downwards to try to get the lowest price, well, guess what? All these FBA offers that were going to be there in the January textbook season at these prices that, at these higher prices, because not only does is there more demand and so the price goes up, but also because they're FBA offers, they get a massive prime bump. You have an opportunity to go in and buy these books that you were going to buy anyways, but buy the FBA offers and get them out of there. And now all of a sudden it's like, whoa, you just completely opened up January for yourself. For a lot of these books
Joji,
now, sell a lot more.
In March, people started getting really scared and liquidating, and March is the lowest part of the season already. So we had these like high school books that were like going for $150 in August, right? And in March they'll maybe go for like $60, $70. But because everyone was just liquidating, these books are like going like for $40, $30, maybe even $25. And I couldn't believe, I was so excited that because I knew the intrinsic value of this book is 150, because that was the black line. That's not the FBA line. That wasn't the prime bump line. That was the black line. Then these books are like $25. I just bought every book I could of everything. This year had the highest profit margin that I've ever had because of the March prime bump that happened there, and I was getting excited again this time, but it looks like it's might be back now.
I know,
So
dang it, it's already back.
looking
No,
forward to
I wanted
buying
more
all those
time
books.
to buy the FBA offers. They were steadily going down. I did pick up
Yes,
a bunch of FBA offers of a bunch of college textbooks, the FBA offers again as a way because again, you have the option to buy the FBM or FBA offer, and if they're both the lowest price, obviously I'm prioritizing buying the FBA offers because it gets rid of that competition, for the upcoming January textbook season. But same thing that Victor, I was hoping that it would actually last longer. And Johnny over here goes, "Be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are
that's
fearful."
the quote.
That's the
Yeah,
quote. Yeah, that's what I was
yeah, from Warren Buffett. Yes,
trying to say. But exactly, and this is the way that you got to think about all of the changes on Amazon, right? When you really take a look, the people who generally make the most noise are the people that are the least invested. Like they're usually the people who do the least volume, the least invested. Not all the time, but
yeah, yeah.
usually, right?
Who started last month? Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, "Oh, guys, FBA biobox is done. Oh
Oh.
no!" And it's like, "Oh, but yeah, I haven't even sent my first shipment in, by the way." Okay, so what? Right, and then you got a lot of people, that could be at Books and Beyond, much much higher volume sellers. I haven't heard anything from them. They're just
Yeah.
like chilling in the background. They're like, "Wait, the buy box is gone again? Oh, yeah, okay. Well, I mean, we can weather the storm for a little bit. I'm not really worried. I think more level headed, more experienced, right? And it's funny, we got somebody here going, "Buy the buy box is back already."
I don't think the buy box ever left. It may even wasn't given to FBA, but the buy box still was there. So yes, the FBA prime bump is back, right? Supposedly, I have not really checked.
Yep. And again, I believe it's intentional testing. I don't think it's a glitch. I don't think it's an error. I think it's intentional testing. I personally believe there will be continued intentional testing going forward. Who knows? I don't know. But I would just say don't be shocked if it happens again. Don't be shocked if it happens for longer than a week. And again, long term, don't be shocked if there are changes. But also don't be shocked if it stays the same. I guess all I'm saying is be ready to adapt. The easiest way to be bulletproof in this business is to be buying products below intrinsic value and selling
Yeah.
it for intrinsic value. In other words, buying stuff below market value and selling it for market value. For example, how would a car salesman or how would somebody who flips cars be successful? Well, they would go buy cars that are worth $20,000 for
Yeah.
$10,000 or $15,000
Yeah.
and then sell them for $20,000.
Yeah.
Right?
They're going to tell you, oh my gosh, the mileage on this car, and there's like a dent here. So, but they already know the intrinsic value of that car is 20,000, but they're not gonna buy it from you for 20,000 because they have
Yeah.
to make money off of it. So
Yeah.
they're thinking 15,000 or less, right? To be
Yeah.
able to buy it,
Yeah.
get the pay the taxes for it or whatever, and
Yeah.
then be able to flip it.
And
So
that's a much easier way to flip too, is to buy under intrinsic value, right? Imagine if you're like, all right, I'm gonna go buy this car, it's $20,000. That's the market value. I'm gonna go buy it at market value, and I'm gonna shine it up. I'm gonna take the dents out. I'm gonna, fix everything up, and then all of a sudden you hope to sell it for 27,000. By the way, Victor, I can
yeah.
drop it off at your house with keys in your hands in the next 10 minutes. That's my FBA service, right? So it's like, okay, that's a much harder way to make money, right? It's like,
yeah, I'm like, okay, but I could still buy it for 20,000, right? From this
yeah,
other guy. I
I
think that's how
get
much the car's worth.
exactly. So focus on buying below the market value, below the intrinsic value, and then just give it to the market at market value because there is evidence and history of that book selling at that price. It makes it so much easier to sell books when you're selling books for what people buy the books for. So much harder to sell books at twice the price of what the value is. So much harder. Of course, it does happen, but it's so much harder to do that, right? A Coca-Cola, Victor,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I could sell you a Coca-Cola for $1.
Yeah.
But if I'm over here trying to charge you $7.50 for a Coca-Cola, you're gonna be like, even if it's, I think you're gonna be like, okay, I'm not sure about this.
Yeah, this is too much. I'm not
This is
buying
too
it
much.
for that.
Yeah. So if you guys have any comments or questions, feel free to put in the chat. Again, it's kind of ironic that in the filming of this live stream where we're finally addressing it, it's already kind of reverted back. Supposedly, potentially.
We had this planned, a couple days ago. It's like, okay, if it lasts longer than a week, let's do it. Because I mean, we have been worried, but people want to hear from us. So okay. Joji, do you want to go look at the Christmas post?
Yeah, let's go look at some Christmas books as well. So Victor just in his Facebook group, definitely join his Facebook group if you haven't. He tends to just give away
It's
free
pretty
books.
these days it's pretty much our Facebook group, but yes.
Yes, our Facebook group. That's cool. Okay, I gotta find. Okay, here we go. Let me share my screen. Let's look at some. Let's look at my screen. Let's go and share. Let's look at some Christmas books. All right. So we got Victor 19 hours ago saying, "Who's excited for Santa? Make sure you get all of your winter books in by November."
Yeah.
Santa, Santa, Santa. I don't know how you predicted it, Victor, but how did you know Christmas was going to come back?
I just felt it. I just feel it. I mean, I went to Walmart recently, and there's already like two or three aisles dedicated to Christmas stuff. So I think we're pretty safe to say that I think Christmas is still gonna show up again this year.
So we have a book right now at a current offer count of right around 40. It was last year right around 40. So essentially, what we're thinking here is probably a very similar trajectory for this book. It's currently priced at $7.70. Last year, again, even if you ignore the used buy box, in early December, it was 25, 26, 27, 29. So by December 7th, which was still, what is that, 2 weeks until Christmas? So plenty of time for this book to get shipped. The cheapest available price was $28.99, right? And so the idea here is, buy for $7, flip it for 24 to 27. Again, completely ignoring the FBA buy box, and boom. There you go. You're making probably $10 per copy, never even touching it. Now, I wouldn't say to buy a ton of this, maybe 2-3 copies of a book like this.
Yeah.
But what would you say, Victor?
Oh yeah, same thing. It's more of we're 2 months out, right? So this book is going to sell in November, right?
Yep.
So that's starting in November, and that's
Yep.
why it's already kind of higher than what it was, say, in August. But the best time to have bought this was in August, which the price would have been like what, $5-6, maybe even a little bit less, like $4 or $5 shipped. And so now it's $7, still a really good deal. Buy it at $7, sell it for $29.
And look at this.
There's money to be made there.
Look in the buy box, fulfilled by Amazon. So it looks like Amazon is getting the buy box back. This is what we mean about most FBA sellers. Most booksellers, for that regard, have no idea what they're doing. Why? Because why is this person selling this book for $7.70? Why is this person selling? I mean, these are not small sellers. This person has 1,400 feedback rating, 500 feedback rating. Even this person, no idea what they're doing. Selling this book for $10. I mean, all you have to do is look historically at the last 3 years of this book, and you would see that, well, if you held this book in 2022, the lowest price was $37. If you held this book until November, December of 2023, you're in the $35, $40 range. If you held this to November, December of 2024, this book was $25. So, I mean, this is exactly what I mean, is that these people are pricing below what we consider the intrinsic seasonal value to be. So go buy those copies.
And maybe they priced them because of the FBA
could be
challenges that we just recently had. And so that's a great book to go buy that person's copy for $7.
And also, by the way, this is the exact kind of book somebody would scan in a thrift store and leave on the shelf because it would say red, right? It would show up red. Right. Person wouldn't take a second to look at the cover of the book. They wouldn't take any.
And why would it show it red? Because the FBA box is at $7.70. And you probably have this thrift book. It's like $2, so you have it's going to show you red because there's no money to be made.
Which $2 for this book would be an insane deal, right? If you could buy this book for $2 and you could sell it for $27. I mean, you're making like $13 profit per copy, kind of a thing. So that'd be an insane deal. But again, the only time this book, ironically, is going to be bought on the thrift store is actually going to be when someone scans in November or December, which is funny because by the time they ship it to Amazon, Victor, it's going to be after Christmas. They're going to get it in there in January when sales start slowing down.
And that's what's happening there. Do you see that movement up in January and February? People have started scanning this book and like, wow, okay, apparently I make money from it. By the time they get it in, it's already back down to $10. And then they're like, this book is crap.
Guess what? And then they liquidate it in September, 9 months later, for $7 or $8.
Yeah.
Oh boy, that's funny. All right. Next, we got ourselves Christmas at the White House. It looks like you just had posted this, so it still potentially could be available at $12 there. But we're looking at last year, the selling in the mid-30s, so same sort of deal here. Very similar offer count every year during Christmas. Does very well. It's a $30 to $40 book. So you could have picked it up for $8 plus shipping, so probably right around $12. Potentially, you could even buy it for $12 right now if it's free shipping. So now it's like $16. So I would say it's probably, I mean, it's getting close now, but 12 was definitely a much better pickup.
But you see, what we're basing it off the intrinsic value. We're not telling
Yes.
you, okay, so the prime bump you might be able to sell it for 45.
Yeah.
No, we're being realistic here. What's the black line? How much can you sell it for at the black line?
Yeah, exactly. Well put. Christmas at the White House. And then we have this book about the Grinch, Dr. Seuss. So really interesting book because of the fact that this book sold out November 13th of last year.
And it just sold out the entire Christmas season. So it's
Yeah.
like, well, you could have asked for anything for this book. All the copies were sold out.
Yeah. So for a whole month, it sold out. Finally, someone came back in stock at $42. Actually, someone came back in stock at 28, sold out immediately. Someone came in at 42 and then 49. They sold out. And then you kind of look further back in time and you look at 2024. Very similar thing happened here where it actually did sell out in
Surprise,
early
surprise,
December.
it sold out again.
50s. So this book for the last 2 years, actually the last 3 years, has sold out during Christmas. And it's a book that routinely you could pick up every year for pretty cheap. So what's this book right now? It's at like, $17. But again, based upon last year, very likely to sell out. And again, you had a prime opportunity in June here to pick up multiple copies of this book, like $7 plus shipping. So anyways, so this is a French edition. We should have given this to the French people.
The M6 people. Yeah. So this
M6
book was
people.
what? It was actually cheaper, right? Until I just shared it. So it was like $12 or something around there.
$12,
So yeah.
Devin says, shout out to Derek and Seth, my local competition friends. Have a great day to everyone here. Keep working hard every day. Consistency is king.
You're right.
When you look at the traits that are common among people who succeeded is that they work, and don't stop working. They adapt to changes. And so the reverse of that is that people who fail stop working, don't adapt to changes, and always jump from one thing to the next. So
they find problems and they can't figure out ways to fix them. That's what business is. You run into a problem, you try to strategize how to fix it and find a way through it. And that's what we do.
So a couple things as well that I do want to share. Number one is, again, Books and Beyond is coming up October 10th through 12th, right around the corner. This was Books and Beyond last year, which was just a ton of fun. It's down here on Fremont Street. I would really highly recommend watching the video just to see kind of the atmosphere and the vibe, which is awesome. And you get to see a little bit of the inner workings of the conference as well. Down below, we have a bunch of video testimonials, some that are speakers, some people who just attended. Also got a ton of sponsors this year, which is just awesome. I think it just shows the success of the conference. Again, just pictures of, the networking going on at the after parties, the people at the actual conference itself, people engaged in thoughtful conversation. And it's happening really soon. I'm really excited, Victor. I mean, it's kind of crazy how fast it's crept up on us, but we've got tons of really valuable speakers as well, including, obviously Avery. We got Michelle, who is a stepmom of two, has a 9-to-5 in the banking industry. She, I think, has she done over 200K this year? I think over 200K.
She's approaching it.
She's approaching 200K this year. We got Jen Fritz, who actually just recently opened up a brick and mortar used bookstore and also does eBay to Amazon. Of course, myself, Steve probably, and Victor as well. But we got Amanda also going to be talking about selling on Walmart. We're going to be talking Amanda DiMartino talking about how to sell the Amazon duds on Walmart. So how to monetize books that you can't sell on Amazon and then make incredible margins with those on Whatnot. We got, of course, Bill Marlink, the senior sales director of World of Books. I mean, he's literally been selling books since the 90s, the late 90s. He actually has a photo with Jeff Bezos. So Bill's an OG, goes way back. He is now, again, the sales director of World of Books, which is the #1 eBay bookseller in the world. And I want to say top 15 Amazon seller, which includes
I think top 10, I think.
Was it top 10? Okay.
Yeah. So if you guys have ever seen Glenn the bookseller, this isn't Glenn, but he works with Glenn.
Him and Glenn. And actually, what's funny, Victor, I just saw this. I saw a book yesterday that I was looking to buy, and it said World of Books, and then in parentheses it said formerly Glenn the bookseller. Is that funny? That's what it said on Amazon. Like, that's what their name was.
Yeah.
It was World of Books in parentheses formerly Glenn the bookseller, which is pretty hilarious. We've got Aaron Worley, who's killing it, getting close to $1 million in sales this year just with eBay to Amazon. And again, with a lot of the eBay to Amazon guys, a lot of opportunity with eBay to Amazon flips. Also, a lot of these guys have virtual assistants. So if you're wanting a virtual assistant as well, definitely something that I would recommend, trying to network with guys like that, especially Carter Maxwell. Carter's going to be there as well. He's sponsoring a VA fast lane. So if you guys wanted to pair up with a virtual
Yeah.
assistant, that's
Yep.
also pretty valuable. Now we got David Chung also selling since the early 2000s, one of the largest bulk booksellers on Amazon as well. And then his latest venture is called Libro Loop, where basically anyone trying to get into bulk book selling, he's able to connect you with pallets of books. So just awesome. The man who probably doesn't need any introduction, Caleb Roth, co-built Scout IQ with, a couple other guys like David and
Yeah.
Matthew as well, but basically retired, became financially independent from selling books, sold that company. A lot of people still use Scout IQ. A lot of, I would say, Scout Lee's features as well come from what the work they did at Scout IQ. So he's going to be there. It's
Mhm.
awesome. Riley is a owner of Forest Books and Media, so a physical storefront in Canada. So he's selling out of Canada, but also sells on Amazon as well. And by the way, all these people we interviewed on our channel, so you can go back live if you want to listen to a little bit more about their background and story before you come to Books and Beyond. Josiah just crushing it. He lives in Alaska, 7-figure eBay to Amazon seller. Also has a massive fleet of Turo vehicles. So he's in multiple businesses, but just
Yeah.
he's a silent killer, right? He's one of those people who doesn't talk a bunch, but he's killing it, like crazy killing it. Of course, another man doesn't need any introduction. Reezy resells. He sold over 5 million used books
One of the
lifetime.
biggest influencers on Amazon with Amazon.
Yeah, and so he's
Yeah.
I think he's to be talking about the Amazon influencer program here at Books and
Yeah.
Beyond, which is great. Chase Davis, really impressive young man, 19 years old, and really teaching a lot of people how to get into bulk books. He's also sort of networking and bringing his supply and sort of teaching other people how to do it, like by supplying them with books. So kind of a similar model as to David Chung, which is really awesome. And then
He's out there
Chris,
just hustling.
he's
Yeah.
a hustler, man.
Yeah.
Really impressive young
Yeah.
guy. He's gonna crush it. I would definitely recommend talking to him. Then we got Chris Bradley, founder of Hoku Book. Chris just blows my mind, man. This guy, so I interviewed him yesterday, Victor. I'm not sure if you listened to any of that, but he
Not yet.
grew up when he was like the age of like 10 months. His parents were flipping books. Like he's been in books his whole life. They're flipping like
Whoa.
college textbooks. So his experience with college textbooks goes back to the inception of his life. In his early days in high school, he started
Wow.
flipping books on Amazon, and his family owns multiple campus bookstores. He also now started a company called Hoku Book, which essentially wholesales or basically offers a solution for K through 12 schools as well as universities to get books below, whatever they would have to pay to a wholesaler. So, guy very likely doing many, many, many millions of dollars in transactions. A guy who's probably bought a lot of your books. Like he's actually said, Joji, he's like, we've actually bought a lot of your books because our colleges and universities need them. So he's probably bought a lot of your books as well, Victor.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I'm sure of it.
yeah,
That happens a lot. I go back and look and I'm like, okay, this same buyer has bought my books, and I'm like, okay, this is some type of wholesaler
yeah,
buying my books, realizing, okay, I'm gonna get it for the intrinsic value. I'm gonna sell it for you a little bit more than that.
yeah. So I mean, I think any one of these conversations with one of these people, not even to mention any of the people who will be there who are also large booksellers who just don't happen to be speakers or sponsors,
Hmm.
I think could easily, any one of these conversations could lead to growth in your business, tons of motivation,
There's just so much opportunity.
inspiration. I
Yeah,
mean, even just interviewing these two guys most recently, I was like, oh my God, I need to do more, dude. These guys are freaking crushing it. Like, or even me, like these guys
yeah,
inspire me.
yeah.
And so if you're somebody who's wanting to network, you're wanting to grow your business, you want to be around like-minded people, you want motivation, you want inspiration, you want a massive tax write-off. If you're somebody who wants a good time,
Yeah.
spending it in Las Vegas on Fremont Street, awesome vibes. I don't see how you lose. I literally don't see how you lose. So you've got 3 options. You got general, you got platinum, and diamond. So the platinum package comes with the Saturday after party. The diamond package comes with the Saturday and Sunday after party. Plus you get all the recordings to the event just in case you had to, walk out, or you just want to make sure you have everything so that you don't miss anything, and you want to rewatch it so you get the recordings as well. Now we have a really awesome deal going on for the next few days. If you use code Flash Sale, in all caps, you can get a 3-pack for 50% off. So if, let's say, you want to bring a friend or a
So
family member,
a three pack is 3 tickets, right? Yeah.
3 tickets, right? So if you were to buy 3 tickets, you can get at 50% off. So one way to think about it is like if you do the general admission, right? This would, if you were to get 3 tickets, it costs around 1,500, but half of that's about 750. So for just a couple $100 more, you could literally bring a family member. You could bring your wife or your husband, and they can just kind of hang out and enjoy Las Vegas. You can even bring, if you have a teenager that wants to get into it, your neighbor, it's just really an incredible deal. So I believe that also is extended to every one of these packages, but
Yeah.
100% satisfaction guarantee. You know, you can transfer your enrollment if you need to, if you can't make it. And again, it's just going to be a ton of fun. You can just see, yeah. I don't know what more to say other than also what y'all want to do. If you're interested in online book arbitrage, definitely make sure that you guys sign up for BookMine Mini as well. Can you talk a little bit about BookMine Mini, Victor? A little bit?
Sure. So well, first off, we run a software called BookMine, right? So the people who don't know, and it finds about 5,000 books every 30 minutes that are below it. These books are below their intrinsic value. We showcase them, and
Yep.
then basically tell you guys to go and try to buy those books, right?
Yep.
And so those are the price points you're seeing, 199 and 249. But if you're just starting out, I understand that's probably quite a bit of money. So we decided to also have BookMine Mini, which is which is in the name, right? It's BookMine, but it's a smaller version of it. So it has all the same features, but now it's 50 books every 2 hours.
Yep.
So 50 books, and there's 5,000 on BookMine, but 50 on BookMine Mini.
Yep.
So and that's what it is. It's 50 books every 2 hours. All these books are below their intrinsic value. So we're letting you know, hey, these are books probably want to go check out and probably go and buy them. And again, every 2 hours we update this list. And so it's pretty easy. Just go in there, find these books, go buy them.
Oh my God. Yeah. So the buy box is back. Look at that. That's awesome. Of course, I'm happy that the used buy box is back. I love the status quo. I love there being a FBA buy box. Why? Because it's easier to sell books. You sell more books. You sell them for more money. All I'm saying is that we don't need it to be profitable, right? But look at this book, Victor. Woo. So this is an AP edition.
Yeah.
So even though the goal to sell this is in, May, June, July, August of next year, obviously the price inflates a lot, right? This is one of the newer, it's a couple years old.
Yeah.
A high school textbook, and it's a book that, it's at an amazing deal right now. What I like about this book in particular is that every year it just doesn't have a very high offer count, but does have quite a bit of demand.
Yeah.
So I would say this book is definitely a pickup at this price. I'm just not logging into my Amazon account right now, which is why it says I can't sell, but I can sell this book, and a lot of you can as well. So this is what Victor means. I would go in and just buy all these copies. I'd buy all the $50 copies. So I'd buy this one, I'd buy those 4, and I'd buy this one. And then what I'd be pricing this book at, I'd be pricing at what I think intrinsic value is, which is probably like $99.99 to $109, something like that, and making $20-$30 a copy. Yeah, I'm going to have to wait. But again, look, that's what the buy box price is right now. It does sell kind of year round as well. And there will be opportunities to pick this book up as well at a similar price or maybe cheaper price. But
that's how simple it is, even with BookMine Mini. You saw we clicked on a book within a minute, less than a minute, you found this book.
Yeah. So BookMine Mini, awesome resource. Again, 50 books. Basically, it's 2 pages worth of books, absolutely free every 2 hours. We got a bunch of filters up here that you can try out. We got over 400 BookMine Mini members. So there is a little bit of competition, but you can still definitely find stuff because, again, it's 50 books every 2 hours. Nobody is able to be on here every 2 hours and snag all the books. It's just simply way too many books. And then, again, if you did eventually make your way to regular BookMine is going to give you 4,000 to 5,000 books every 30 minutes. So you're going to get quadruple the speed and 100x the books. So you're going to get 100 times more opportunities at 4x the speed. So that's why there's a big difference between the two, but still tons of value you can get there, if that makes sense.
It does.
Yep. So all I'll say is the buy box is back. Woo! But it's more than likely, again, there's more likely going to be intentional testing into the future again. So don't be surprised if it kind of reverts back for a week or 2 weeks, 3 weeks. No one knows long-term what the results are going to be. I do think long-term it's going to be multiple used buy boxes with an FBM and FBA offer.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know that for a fact. That's just my gut feeling. At the end of the day, it doesn't ultimately matter. I buy books, and so does Victor, and all the people we teach, they buy on
Yeah.
intrinsic value. So they're going to have a profitable business regardless of what happens, which is why I can sleep at night, and hopefully the reason why you can sleep at night. But
And that's why you should. That's why we're not worried, and that's why you shouldn't be worried. Don't build your business solely based on the use by box.
yeah. So I think that's all we got for today. Come to
Yeah.
Books and Beyond. You guys will get some free Book Mine swag. There's a bunch of other swag as well. A lot of
Networking will be going on.
Yeah. We'll probably coming up here soon. We'll kind of disappear for a little while as we do Books and Beyond. We're co-hosts of it. There's a lot of work that goes into it. It's also very draining in terms of us being there for 4 or 5 days and just talking to so many people and networking. It's a huge thing, right? So it's like
because we give our all in there.
Yeah,
we want to help out everybody. So we go full force.
Yep. So hopefully everyone enjoyed. And any parting words, Victor?
No, hopefully I see everybody that's been in this chat. Hopefully I get to see everybody at Books and Beyond.
Yeah, sounds good. All right, everybody.
All right.
See you later.
See you later.